Big Body Bonito. DECAP, I'm really intrigued by your content. You found this really low-key niche of dedicated followers. Do you think you niche down consciously? And do you think it's more viable than just going for placements? You know, when I put out Drums That Knock Volume 1, I didn't know it was gonna get the response it did. The shit went viral. And as I started coming out with Volume 2, Volume 3, Volume 4, those sounds I did ended up changing the sound of pop music. It ended up changing the sound of hip hop. Now, if you listen to songs from 2015 before Drums That Knock, they didn't knock. And then I put out Drums That Knock, all of a sudden everyone's sound started knocking. So by me putting out Drums That Knock, it was completely unexpected. I thought some of my homies, some of my producer community, some of my friends would support it. It ended up being a worldwide phenomenon to the point where like now I'll watch the Grammys and I'll see Bad Bunny loading up Drums That Knock. I'll hear a song on the top 10 using the Drums That Knock loop. So what that did for me was it made me realize that that's a direction to go into. So I did niche down into that. And it ended up being a thing where Drums That Knock got me in communication with some of the biggest producers in the world. So now when I go to LA, I'm in communication right now with the #1 producers in the world, the top 5 producers on the charts right now. So it's opened up the doors in communication for me by niching down in that regard. But I had been doing this shit for 15 years before that. And I thought I was just going after the placement. That made it ridiculous to go after placements, but I'm not trying to compete for #1 records and shit. It's just, I don't need to because my brand is bigger than that. I don't need to go for #1 records and all that. That's a good approach, but I found my own way. And now Drums That Knock has over 6 million downloads. Everyone's career is gonna be different, and the way you pop off might not be the way that you thought you were gonna pop off. When you start out and try different things, you might find some things that work better than others, and when you see something working, just go with that, because it probably means that there's more untapped potential. So roll with it for a little bit and see where it goes. That's what I did with Drums That Knock. Putting it into perspective, I have placements, but right now I'm at the point where I'm not looking to placements. Because like, look, I do several different things. Like I put out that song in 2014 that got tips. I made a prediction on Bitcoin and that did well. I started doing music for TV and films and some of that did well. And then I started doing drum kits, that did well. And I've done a lot of things that did not do well. And I've done other things that did well, but I couldn't figure out how to monetize it, so I had to stop doing it. For example, you guys have been here on this stream. Like you saw when I first started streaming, I tried a bunch of different things. I did Future Knock episodes on the stream, and that was going well. I would set up my Pioneer DJ. Some of you guys remember when I did that, and it was cool. Like we had a good time playing music, but then the DMCA started happening with Twitch, so I had to stop doing that. So that's something I tried, and it didn't work out. Was it a failure? No. I just realized I couldn't do it anymore because of DMCA. But I tried it. And maybe that would have popped off and there was no DMCA and all of a sudden I'd be DJing like crazy. You know, it just didn't go that way. I try a lot of things and some of them work, some of them don't. But I don't believe in failure. You just try stuff and it works or it doesn't.